Hello, Durud and Shalom. How's everyone? Okay, let me actually zoom in. There we go. That's much better. All right, guys. Make sure you like the stream. You guys know, I think, that Candace Owens has been trying to blame Charlie Kirk's assassination on Israel, saying that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. That's what she's trying to suggest, because Charlie Kirk was turning against Israel. And you also guys remember that she suggested that Charlie sent a letter to Netanyahu, and in that letter, she was basically turning against Israel. And then we had the letter. So let's actually go to this one. But let me actually play this. So you can see on September 16th, she said this, but there's new revelation. So she has a new video that just came out, which she has some messages, DMs, private messages that Charlie has sent that suggests that maybe she was right all along. We'll see, okay? But this is the letter that Charlie has sent to Netanyahu. That backfired on her because that was embarrassing. Let's look at her claims. So there's two. Let's separate these. She had some claims regarding a letter that Charlie sent to Netanyahu, and Netanyahu read parts of it. And this is what she said about that. And then once we update everybody regarding that, then we will go to the now new claim she's making about the text messages that she has of Charlie Kirk to some other people, suggesting that this shows that Charlie was turning against Israel. But let's go to the letters that she was talking about first, and then we will go to the text messages.
So there definitely is a little bit more to the story. First and foremost, that letter he is holding up, he is severely misrepresenting. Those sentences are real.
So she's talking about the letter that Netanyahu was holding and reading from the letter that Charlie Kirk had sent to Benjamin Netanyahu. She's saying that the letter that Bibi was reading were real, but he's holding some other parts of it, okay?
But I am calling upon Bibi Netanyahu, the dear friend to Charlie Kirk, to publish the letter's entire contents. Like, don't start with just two sentences. Publish the entire thing. You're holding it.
So this was on September 16th, okay?
I'm saying you're severe.
By the way, hi guys. I see Delta is here. I see Nail Bunny, Comrade Shifty, Jack, Sarah, everyone else.
Severely misrepresenting the contents that in May, Charlie was concerned about Israel and their influence on American politics and how they were pushing things that he felt were in conflict with his beliefs, free speech here in America.
So she says these are the things that were in the letter. The letter came out. None of those things were in it, remember?
Bibi's holding it up like Charlie just in May said, hey, you know what? I just want to write a love letter to Israel. That's how it was presented. Would you guys agree? That's not how it happened. Let's stop saying how Charlie felt. And instead, if you're going to hold up the letter, release it in its entirety. Okay? And lies by severe omission, I'd like to be very clear, are lies. Does anybody want
So this is September 17th.
to jump in and say, no, yeah, the letter Charlie wrote him in May was just like a glowing, he just was overcome with passion.
Yes, we saw the letter. The letter eventually came out, and we saw that actually Charlie was very concerned for Israel, and he wanted Israel to do more to promote Israel. It was actually like a love fest for Israel. It was actually even more pro-Israel than I assumed. So you're wrong. You were wrong.
And said, I love it.
This ended up being a huge embarrassment for Candace. But now the new video, which I will show you next, is her comeback. So she wants everybody to forget this because she has some text messages. We'll get to that.
You guys are amazing. You're beautiful. We're going to win this thing and you're perfect and doing nothing wrong. Love you, Bibi. Tommy very quickly told us that Charlie was implied that Charlie was penning love letters to him in May.
It was actually love letters.
I just find that weird that no one wants to address the substance of the claims here, whether or not maybe Bill himself has an opinion on whether Bibi lied by severe omission when he mentioned his last correspondences with Charlie. And you're doubling down on your lie. I told you to publish the full letter that Charlie wrote you.
So this is September 19th.
Last correspondences with Charlie. And you're doubling down on your lie. I told you to publish the full letter that Charlie wrote you.
I told you, Bibi. I told you to publish it. Hey, look at Bibi. She told you to publish
lines of it. Okay. It's a lie by omission. Doing Fox News.
Oh, this is September 26th.
and Greta Van Sustern's show, he lied about the contents of a letter that Charlie Kirk had written him.
Remember on September 18th,
Oh, so now this is September
I
30th.
reported about a letter that Charlie Kirk wrote to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, what was exactly in it. Well, the New York Post got a hold of that letter. They've now published it, and it's exactly what I reported. Now, Charlie Kirk expressing his love for Israel, warning about the disinformation war, and really urging Israel to do better when it comes to social media and how to reach the younger people. No attacks on Israel, just advice on how to fight lies and reach the next generation. Not going to read the 7 pages, but it says, everything written here is from a place of deep love for Israel and the Jewish people. Israel is losing the information war and needs a communications intervention. Then he goes on to say, Mr. Prime Minister, I urge you, in caps, to revamp your information war strategy from top to bottom. It's exactly what I said, what was in the letter.
Can anybody actually work and assert that I am lying? You can say my name. Candace Owens lied.
Yeah, we can. Candace Owens lied. Candace Owens lied. We can. It's really easy. It's actually very easy. Okay, so now she tried to like completely ignore that because that was so embarrassing for her. But she now has a new thing. She found these text messages and she's like, aha, I gotcha. I gotcha. So forget about the letter that I said would reveal that Charlie was turning against Israel. Forget that. Forget I ever said that. Focus on this new video, okay? So this new video, let's just go into it.
To you, psychological strategy that I
Hey, Amir is here. Sam is here. 2 Amirs are here. Amirs.
refer to as
Kenny.
David Hagen. Somebody, you guys remember David Hogg of the Parkland shooting tragedy? Of course you do. Well, it seems like Turning Point USA is now engaging in this strategy of David hogging the public. And I wanted to be clear that it is downright manipulative, and I've really had enough of it. Frankly, what happened over the weekend is that their TP Action COO, Tyler Boyer, went on a little bit of an X binge. I don't recommend it, which was then highlighted by Alex Clark, who has a show over there on.
Wait, hold on. Okay, so she's trying to frame Turning Point USA with all of these things. Let me actually go from the very beginning, see how she starts. Hold on.
Happy Monday, everybody. Today we are going to discuss, or rather, I'm going to introduce to you a psychological strategy that I refer to as David Hagen. Somebody, you guys remember David Hogg of the Parkland shooting tragedy? Of course you do. Well, it seems like Turning Point USA is now engaging in this strategy of David hogging the public.
So she thinks that Turning Point USA as a whole is in on this. So she's trying to come up with this conspiracy theory that Israel and Turning Point USA are on one side and Charlie Kirk and her are on the other. Okay.
And I wanted to be clear that it is downright manipulative, and I've really had enough of it. Frankly, what happened over the weekend is that their TP Action COO, Tyler Boyer, went.
Yeah, exactly. Lisa is saying now she's attacking Charlie's business and employees. That's really low. Yep, she's going after all of them. I bet you it might be actually the case that at some point she's going to go against Charlie's wife as well. We'll see though.
On a little bit of an X binge. I don't recommend it, which was then highlighted by Alex Clark, who has a show over there on Instagram. And I think it's therefore fair for us to turn our attention back to them. So welcome back to Candace. So let me put it.
You know what? I should have some baby pictures of myself at the beginning of every show. I think a lot of you would have a hard time disagreeing with me if you see some baby pictures of me at the beginning of the show. Wouldn't you agree? If I started with the show at the beginning, showing you some of my baby pictures, not at the end, at the beginning, a lot of you were like, "Oh, Armin must be right."
To you this way. I'll give you a different scenario. If at this very moment, McDonald's
Lisa is saying, I like that. Okay.
publicly announced that their CEO was stepping down and they were going to replace him with somebody.
Wait, what? If
Why? I'll
McDonald's?
give you a different scenario. If at this very moment, McDonald's publicly announced that their CEO was stepping down and they were going to replace him with somebody else, nobody would care, right? Like there's not going to be any public outcry about them doing that. The average person doesn't even know who the current CEO of McDonald's actually is. But, however, giving you a different scenario, if out of nowhere McDonald's announced that they were getting rid of the Big Mac, that they were changing their French fries, and they're doing away with their chicken nuggets, there would probably be a reaction to that. People would be pretty angry. It would probably start trending. And it's because the reality is nobody actually cares about the corporate structure. But if you change the menu items, that actually changes the substance of the company for people. A very recent example of that, by the way, is the Cracker Barrel scandal, which was hilarious, but it was a good point for everybody to learn, right? Corporates over at Cracker Barrel effed around, and they found out pretty quickly that that old man on the logo, that inanimate old man that was with the cracker and the barrel, actually had more meaning to the public than their entire corporate division. They were ready to just walk away from it all because they got rid of the old man and his barrel. Now, I raise this only to say that I have seen multiple political organizations within recent years, especially when money starts pouring in, right? There's this like arrogance that sets in, and they start to delude themselves into believing that they're smarter than their customers, that they're smarter than their audience, so to speak, right? Like the magic is actually the corporate structure. Audiences, I want to be very clear, will catch a vibe pretty quickly. Audiences are smart, they're perceptive. They will sense when something is off. And the harder that you try to convince them that their senses are not real and that they are imagined, the more obvious it actually becomes to them that their suspicions are correct. Something's not right. Now,
Okay, so the argument so far is because customers of Cracker Barrel were upset about the logo change. That means that the audience are always right? What? So, given that in McDonald's, if you change the menu, people care more than if you change the CEO, and changing the Cracker Barrel logo made a whole bunch of people upset, that means that if the audience suspects that something is off, then they are correct. Guys, she's not very smart, is she, huh? What the fuck? Like, yeah, okay.
to just keep up with the same analogy, Charlie Kirk was essentially the old man on the Cracker Barrel logo. People were invested in Charlie Kirk. We have, at this moment, no definitive understanding of what happened on.
So, yeah, but Turning Point USA didn't change Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. People are not. Your analogy would only make sense if Turning Point USA was removing Charlie Kirk as their main guy, and the audience didn't like it, and that's why they were turning against Turning Point USA. I'm pretty sure we could see where the false, how this is a false analogy, like how people shouldn't be turning against the Turning Point USA, given that they didn't kill Charlie Kirk. Unless your analogy would only make sense if you're kind of suggesting that they had something to do with the assassination. Is that what you're suggesting?
On the day that he was assassinated. But what we do know definitively.
Oh wait, she might be actually suggesting that.
Of what happened on the day that he was have at this moment no definitive understanding of what happened on the day that he was assassinated. But what we do know definitively is that the feds are lying to us. That is obvious. It is abundant. If you're able to think thoughts, you recognize that something is very wrong with the story that has been presented to the public.
And this is basically every single conspiracy theorist nut job way of coming up with their own theory is that there's obviously something missing here. If you have if you have even two neurons to rub against each other, you would see that there's something off. Therefore, my theories about what's happened. This is how they get you. This is how conspiracy theories of get you. Like, hey, forget about my theory. Can you just accept that something is off here? I mean, if by something is off, you mean that we as an observer don't have all the details, so we cannot make sense of things. That's true about most of the things most of the time. Like, obviously, if you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle is not going to be complete, so we don't know what we're looking at. That is not a good excuse for your insane conspiracy theories.
And I think that what the public doesn't understand, and I count myself among the public, is why it seems as though Turning Point USA executives, and I'll say seems, are not even remotely interested in challenging that official narrative. They're not.
Guys, like, she's trying to hint that they are in on it. They're in on the assassination. Israel killed Charlie Kirk, and she's trying to somehow implicate and suggest that they were also involved. The closest friends of Charlie and the people who worked with him, she's trying to suggest that they're also involved in his murder.
Interested in challenging it publicly, at least. In fact, I think it was an ex-user that pointed out, he put it rather bluntly when he said, so they want us to forgive Tyler Robinson, but to
yeah, Alicia in the chat is saying she manipulates things to fit her narrative. Exactly.
attack the people that are trying to bluntly when he said, so they want us to forgive Tyler Robinson, but to attack the people that are trying to solve the murder of Charlie Kirk. Like, that's not right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. Of threats of lawsuits. We're collecting evidence of it. What are we even talking about? And
wait, what are you talking about? That's completely correct. What the fuck? What is she on about?
when he said, so they want us to forgive Tyler Robinson, but to attack the people that are trying to solve the murder of Charlie Kirk.
Are you fucking out of your mind? You're trying to solve it. You who are basically calling anybody that you don't like a trans, or basically coming up with the most weirdest conspiracy theorists. You who are, I don't know, the most crazy anti-Jewish conspiracy theories and accusations. You don't even think that the people who call themselves Jews are real Jews. You want to do the investigations? People who want the investigations to happen, to take place and get to good results, should just let the authorities handle it. Like, wait, like, she's talking about a whole bunch of nut jobs coming up with the weirdest allegations and the weirdest accusations against the people who are close to Charlie. She's saying, oh, why are you guys standing against us? Don't you want us to investigate a murder? No, we don't. We don't want you to investigate the murder. You know who investigates murder? Investigators who are professional investigators that are part of the police force, who have been trained to do. We don't want a whole bunch of nut jobs to investigate the situation. We want people who we pay, who have expertise and who have been paid to do so, to carry out the investigations, not you and nut jobs like you.
Tyler Robinson, but to attack the people that are trying to solve the murder of Charlie Kirk.
Trying to solve, like, who the fuck do you think you are? What experience do you have in criminology and, investigating murder scenes and investigating, terrorist groups or lone wolf or any of that? Who are you? You're just a conspiracy. Like, no, we don't want you to investigate. We don't want you. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, of course, you're the last person that you should be involved in investigating and solving this murder. Like, look how full of themselves these people are. Like, don't you want us to discover the truth? No, not you. We don't. Of course they don't. Like, you are monetizing the death of your so-called friend. That's what you're doing. You are just basically using Charlie Kirk's death as a way to increase conspiracy theories against the Jews and grow your following. And by doing that, you're hurting the closest people to Charlie. And they have every right to come after you with whatever means necessary, including legally suing you for damages. Like, I hope they sue you. These accusations against Turning Point USA is going to have material cost to Point USA's reputation and their brand, the brand value, and you could actually measure the financial damage to all of this, and you could sue for it.
Like, that's not right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. Of threats of lawsuits. We're collecting evidence of it. What are we even talking about?
They're talking about going after a crazy bitch, an insane person, an evil person that is taking advantage of the blood of somebody that she claims was her friend to increase her following and causing a lot of distress for the people closest to Charlie, which absolutely should be sued for it. That's what we're talking about.
And I want to say that what's been bothering me in particular are the micro lies. It seems that they're suddenly in the business of telling micro lies, tiny little misrepresentations.
Yeah, as opposed to macro lies that like what Candace Owens says. Like, oh, like Macron's wife is a man. Or the real Jews are not, the people who say they're Jews are not the real Jews. They're actually devil worshippers. I don't know, shit like that.
Tiny little half-truths that right out of the gate seems altogether unnecessary. It really makes me wonder, who are they protecting exactly?
Israel? Guys, you know what she's doing, right? Who are they protecting? You understand what she's doing. She's trying to suggest that Turning Point USA is trying to protect Israel from people realizing that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. You do realize that's what she's suggesting. That's how she's trying to manipulate her audience.
You'll see oftentimes they and other influencers will invoke Erica as the reason that it's not appropriate to ask questions. It's just not appropriate while Erica is still mourning for you guys to ask any questions. And I'm just going to come back at you with some comments.
They're not saying don't ask any questions. The problem they have with you is your insane conspiracies against random people and also against Israel, trying to turn Charlie Kirk's assassination as your crusade against Israel. That's what they're not saying, hey, please, guys, please don't ask any questions. They're saying, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. You get away from us. At least don't contact us. You're harassing them. You message them, you harass them, you want them to respond, you accuse them, you accuse anybody who doesn't respond to you with baseless lies, baseless accusations. So, and they don't want to focus responding to you because they're focusing on Charlie right now. So they're asking you to kindly fuck off, which makes a lot of sense.
While Erica is still mourning for you guys to ask any questions. And I'm just going to come back at you with some comments.
You know, this is a straw man, you know, asking any question. There are like, do you think that's what they're actually saying? Because guess what? They have been, the police has been asking a lot of questions. The investigators, the detectives are asking a lot of questions. They're not asking them to stop asking questions, and they're not asking anybody to stop asking questions. They're just saying stop it with this insane conspiracy theories and stop it with harassing the people who are focusing on Charlie's death right now. Stop contacting them. Stop demanding answers from them. If you're not part of the police, then stop harassing them. They are answering the people that they need to answer to. They are not required to answer to people like you. That's what they're saying.
Common sense. What sort of widow wouldn't want people to investigate the assassination of their husband? She has not explicitly said that.
Okay, I hope she comes and says, I hope Erica at some point comes out and says something against you, because I don't know how you could recover from that. I hope she comes out and tells you to fuck off, because if she does that, then I don't know how you're going to respond to that. But if she does do that, then I don't know, that's going to be a huge reputational damage for Candace.
To investigate the assassination of their husband. She has not explicitly said that, but the influencers are invoking that, right? They're invoking, like,
Yeah, exactly. Wonder in the chat saying a grieving widow wants to grieve. Like, she has, like, look at her evidence. The fact that a grieving widow doesn't come and spend her time responding to your fucking bullshit is her evidence.
not appropriate right now for people to be asking questions. That's what I mean when I say they are David hogging us. Okay. You could also use another example. Somebody that was on the right, Kyle Khrushchev. What essentially means is that when a tragedy takes place and we are emotional, our emotions are raw. Me especially, I think this was the first time where I couldn't really check my emotions. I'm just now like,
Oh my god. The first time where I couldn't check my emotions, says the most emotional bitch I've ever seen on YouTube. What the fuck?
moving out of the grief stage. There will be people that then will try to manipulate you, right? They will try to manipulate you
Says the manipulator.
by using that strategy of saying, well, it would be really wrong. It would be really wrong for you to look beneath this layer or to ask a question about this. And it would be an
Oh yeah, we're just asking questions. We're not harassing people. We're not coming up with this most insane accusations against people. We're not doing that. We're just why are you against asking questions? Why are you against asking? This is a straw man. That's not what they're against. You're lying. You know that that's not what they're against. You know that other people are asking questions that they're not against them. You're doing something else other than just asking questions. You fucking idiot.
injustice to Charlie Kirk's legacy, really. If you really loved him, then you shouldn't do this, okay? Because the tragedy just happened. And they did this, David Hogg. You're not allowed to question David Hogg. Like,
If Erica comes out and calls her out, is she going to act like Erica is also part of this Israeli plot to kill Charlie?
suddenly became an authority.
Oh no, I think. Okay, Candace, I'll give you some tips. Okay, if Erica comes and turns against you and says calls you out and tells you to fuck off, here as somebody who has been following conspiracy theorists, brain rot, the internet, here are two options for you. Okay, you could because you have defended her, so it might be too late for you to act like she was in on it from the beginning. So either say that Israel threatened her and she's doing this for the sake of her children, okay? Or say, or if you want to go really cuckoo, just go, that's not the real Erica. Zoom in on her picture and be like, look, her ear is bigger here. Her nose is not the same as that picture. I don't know where the real Erica is, if she's alive anymore. But they created this new person, but the Jew science that they have, and this is just not that same person. Okay, I know, and I know how you guys think. I know how you guys speak, and this is what you're supposed to say as an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist.
And no matter what he said, we were kind of told by the journalist that it made perfect sense and he should go to Harvard. And obviously, to the extent that anybody suffers and survives a school shooting, I'm with you. And I think that that's totally fair. But then when you go beyond that, it starts to feel a little bit like you're emotionally manipulating us.
Somebody's saying, you know nothing. Say, just put Jon Snow at the end of it. That would be like, it's so amazing how people who are butthurt in the chat don't actually have any logical arguments to make. Oh my god, somebody's calling me a Jew. Wow. Like, Jew, you're a Jew. Oh my god. I'm so glad that you guys are here to demonstrate how crazy you are. They're using Jew as an insult against me, guys, in the chat. Amazing.
Totally fair. But then when you go beyond that, it starts to feel a little bit like you're emotionally manipulating us and that you're actually trying to silence people who have valid questions or criticisms or concerns. That strategy, like I said, it worked on me in the beginning. I was definitely completely worked by it. And I was feeling like, even though I knew that they were telling white lies, that I should just allow it and to instead focus my entire attention on just unpacking the federal lies. But you know what? Over the weekend, I realized, actually, no. Lying, full stop, is weird. It's weird.
Lying is weird, guys. Lying is weird. Over the weekend, I was thinking, like, you know what? Lying is weird. Okay.
After a tragedy. It is weird after someone that you purport to be your best friend. You're so close. Why are you telling micro lies about that person? And actually, by exposing those lies, perhaps it will reveal a bigger picture. Because what would motivate it? What would actually motivate it? Now, I'll give you just one example here, and we're going to get into some stuff that's rather bombastic, if I'm being frank. But one example that I bit my tongue on a couple of weeks ago was when influencers randomly went on a full attack mode against me when I very casually, you guys watching the series, very casually mentioned that Catholics were hoping that Charlie was going to take the next step and convert. Like, of course, I'm
That's not what you said, you fucking liar. You fucking bitch. That's not what you said. You said she... Oh my God, hold on.
that Catholics were hoping that Charlie was going to take the next step.
You didn't say Catholics were hoping. You were saying that it was happening. You referred to some exchange that you had with Charlie that you made up in your head, lying about the conversations that you had with him, saying that like he was praying the rosary, he was this close to being a Catholic, and Catholics are better than Protestant because they don't refer to themselves as, I don't know, Judeo-Christian. And you said the Jew with an, I remember you said the Jew part with so much hate. You're like, they don't refer to themselves as Judeo-Christian. I remember you saying that. That's what you said, you fucking liar. How could you, like, look how the fans of Candace Owens are retarded. I promise you, they are retarded because she's lying to them in their face. This was her own show. Like, you have to be so stupid for you not to remember what she told you in her previous show, and now she's lying to you. Like, she knows that her audience is stupid, and the people who support her in the chat right now are also retarded, and she knows that. She knows that she has collected a whole bunch of idiots around her, and she could tell them things one day, and then the next day come out and said that I said something else, and it could be completely different, and they will believe her because these people are morons, obviously.
And convert. Like, of course, I'm Catholic. Of course, what would be wrong with me sharing that? Everybody was sharing their stories about Charlie.
You weren't sharing that. You fucking liar. You weren't saying that, oh, I hope Charlie becomes Catholic. You said that he was turning Catholic. You fucking liar.
And the conversations they were having. But for some reason, Candace saying, and I'll sum it up, effectively, it was like 2 sentences. Charlie was going through some spiritual changes towards the end.
Big people were angry with you because it was a huge demonstration of how you were using Charlie's death to make up story of made up conversations that you had with him, saying that he was turning on your side in everything. When Charlie is dead and he cannot speak for himself, you were saying that we were having conversations. He was becoming Catholic. He was turning anti-Israeli. He was going to, like, he was basically he was just going to become a white Candace Owens. He was going to turn a white male Candace Owens. He was going to completely be, all of his views was going to be completely exactly like mine, right? And just making up conversations that you did not have, and people were calling that out. That the fact that you were even suggesting that he was turning Catholic, something that his closest friends and family cannot even imagine about him, suggests how demonstrates what big of a liar you are. And now that you have been caught with your pants down, you realize that that was too obvious of a lie. So you're like, I was just hoping. We were just hoping that he turns Catholic. Obviously, as a Catholic, I could hope that he turns Catholic. You fucking liar. You were suggesting that he was turning Catholic based on conversations you had with him.
Catholics were hoping that he'd take the next step because he was praying the rosary.
It wasn't the hope. It wasn't a hope. You were saying that this is happening. You were saying that this is happening. You were saying Charlie was becoming more and more like you. You were trying to show, because Charlie believed in so many things that are completely opposite of everything you stand for, Candace. But because Charlie became a hero, he became a martyr, and people were celebrating him, you decided that you want to turn Charlie into something that is closer to you, knowing that he's not alive, to tell you, to call you out. You were taking advantage of the fact that Charlie was silenced. And that is evil. That is evil. And you are evil. Fuck you. Candace, fuck you.
I never said he converted because he didn't. That would have been dishonest. But people were somehow really angry. Somebody clearly hit the panic button. Suddenly a bunch of videos
Oh, by the way, guys, people are saying 7,000, 7,000. I forgot. People are making it because it's like, oh, now Israel is giving you $7,000, $7,000. That's actually a good reminder for me to put the super chat goal up. Thank you, guys. I forgot to put the super chat goal up. They're like, oh, Armin is an agent of Israel. Israel's going to pay him $7,000. Guys, let's actually try to make this a reality, given that these people think it's true. Let me put some super chats. Maybe somebody could give me a $7,000 super chat. Hold on, let me see. If we get to 10 super chats, I will drop a link for people to come up and talk to me. How about that? If we get, because I will talk to you guys again about Israel. All of these anti-Semites, anti-Israelis could come up. Let me see if I correct this, put this right. If we get 10 super chats, I will drop a link for people to come up and talk to me. So start a goal. We will put a 1 hour. You have 1 hour to get to 10 super chats. So these people are saying 7,000, 7,000. Look, there's so many people are writing 7,000. By the way, you know what this is referring to? Oh, we already got a super chat. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Kenny. Kenny just gave us a super chat. So we're 1 out of 10, I think. Did it count? It will count soon. So Israel has done the wise thing finally to come and support content creators who support Israel. Something that they should have been doing. Oh, by the way, Kenny just gave me $7. So, so thank you, Kenny. I just noticed that it's 7. Okay. But yeah, 7,000 Indian rupees is also good. You could do that. But Israel should have done this a long time ago. And Israel did it completely legally. This is what every country does. So China, Saudi Arabia, Russia, many countries spend in America and other countries promoting their own country in the countries that matter. Every country does that. And it's weird that Israel, who is a country that needs more promotion than any other country, was not doing that. So your criticism for Israel shouldn't be, why are you paying $7,000 to social media influencers to promote Israel? The criticism should be, what took you so fucking long? Why is Israel requires PR and defending of itself, of its country, more than China, Russia, Saudi Arabia? So why did it take them this long? And by the way, they did that all legally because they registered it as a foreign, what is that law called? I forgot. There's a law that they have to register themselves as a foreign entity that is spending money for promoting a country in the United States. And they basically did all of that legally. They went through all the legal channels to make sure they do it right. So keep saying $7,000. I don't know what how does that negate anything I'm saying. In fact, now that people are saying $7,000, I would take $7,000. Israel, if you want to do a deal with me for me to work harder in supporting Israel, here's my email, armin.navabi@gmail.com. I will gladly take $7,000. Okay? You think I'm gonna be ashamed of that? No. In fact, it's good. I think Israel is doing the right thing, investing in promoting Israel as a country in America. It's actually what's needed. And also, we got, guys, we already are 2 out of 10. Thank you so much. Smile to Jahannam just gave us a super chat. Thank you so much for that. And Hello just gave us a super chat saying, hello, guys, look, you guys tried to accuse me of being paid by Israel. Okay? And now because of you, I'm getting more support. So thank you. Please do that even more. And then Hello just gave us a super chat saying, love you, fell in love with you the very first time I heard your interview in a podcast 7-8 years ago. Well, thank you so much. That's actually very motivating to hear. Anyways, let's go back to Candace.
were being made, disputing the narrative. People were going, I knew Charlie and he was truly evangelical to his core. Blah, 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 blah. And I want to tell you this, it felt coordinated. It felt fake. It felt unnecessary. But most importantly,
it's real. He was evangelical to his core. What the fuck? Like, how is that fake? How is that coordinated? What the fuck are you on about? That is one of the most true things about Charlie Kirk that you could say. Jesus fucking Christ. What are you talking about? Everybody knows that about Charlie. Delta just gave us a super chat. Thank you, Delta. Guys, we're already 3 out of 10. That was really fast. Thank you so much. Delta just gave us a super chat. Okay.
It was untrue. Okay, it was untrue. And I'm going to share with you some more truth so that you can contextualize it. Charlie was attending Mass weekly. He was sometimes even attending Mass daily. He was not attending Pastor Rob McCoy's church. As I mentioned before, yes, he was praying the rosary. Charlie, in fact, was wearing the St. Michael pendant when he died, okay? As has already been publicized, Erica took a Catholic bishop with her to pray over his body on the day that he died. These are all indisputable.
Yeah, I heard some people are saying that's normal. That is completely normal for, like, that doesn't suggest at all that you're turning Catholic. And oh, by the way, we got another super chat. Alex is saying, thanks for Israel support. It pays to be on the right side. Yeah. I hope it does, because the right side needs to be financially richer than the wrong side. One thing that actually benefits us who are on the right side of history is that we don't fear wealth. We're not anti-money. We're not anti-prosperity. And the good thing is that our enemies sometimes feel like advertise the anti-wealth, anti-prosperity messages. You know, both the Islamic forces and communists seem to be like, they lie obviously all the time. They act like their wealth and money is a bad thing, which is good because that they advertise that, because their movement staying poor is in our advantage. We want them to have less resources and less money. So it's actually a good thing where they come and make fun of you for raising money, doing fundraising, offering a service, charging people for it. When they make fun of that, that's good, because that mindset will keep them poor, and them staying poor will keep them behind and weaker than us. And thank you for the super chat. And then Kenny also gave us a super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Facts. And it is also a fact, which was presented by Megyn Kelly, that a few weeks before his death, Erica had a priest come over to pray over them when some witches thought it would be funny, whatever, to put a hex on him. Okay. That's a lot of things that were happening.
Candace, I don't know what you're talking about. I just know Charlie's friends and family could not even imagine him ever, just because he was close to other Christians. He prayed with other Christians. Christians pray with other Christians all the time from different sects. That's normal. That doesn't mean that he was turning Catholic. Just because you're as a Protestant, if you're praying with a Catholic priest, it doesn't mean that you're turning Catholic, you fucking moron.
Happening behind the scenes. And the people at Turning Point USA knew those things to be true. Okay. They knew everything that I just shared with you. They knew for a fact. So I was a bit astonished when Andrew Colvett and Alex Clark similarly jumped in this inauthentic attempt to dissuade the idea that Charlie was softening on Catholicism. It read to me like just sheer hatred of Catholics for no reason at all. Here's what they said. I'll jog your memory.
It's just reality. What do you mean hatred for Catholics? It's just true.
You to listen to this now in the context of all of the additional details that I just shared with you. Okay, take a listen.
Was he becoming Catholic?
No, but he really loved Catholic Mass. He loved the ritual of it. He loved the beauty of old Catholic churches and the state.
Guess what, guys? I have to admit something. So do I. I used to go in I'm an atheist. I'm as atheist as you could get. Okay? I'm an atheist motherfucker. You cannot get more atheist than me. Okay? I've been to Catholic masses. I love Catholic churches. They are fucking gorgeous. I don't care. I'm anti-religion. I love Catholic churches. I've been to masses. I enjoy watching the ceremony. It doesn't mean I'm turning Catholic. I'm not turning Catholic just because I like to look at Catholic churches. I like the hymns. I like the ceremony. I like everything. I like the Catholic music. I like the tradition. I don't like the belief. I don't believe in it. I just enjoy the tradition. It's fun. It's fun to look at. It's easy on the eyes. Okay, it's fun. It's something beautiful to look at, even though if the religion is false, in my opinion.
Stained glass.
And him and
He-
Erica would go
he-
sometimes.
Yeah, well, Erica's a cradle Catholic, but she ended up kind of like me. I grew up Catholic and first communion and went to Catholic high school, but then I
Yeah, somebody's saying I also listen to masses, Bach, Mozart. Yeah, exactly.
ended up becoming a Christian in college through a Protestant church, through a non-denominational kind of more experience. It was actually Presbyterian, and then it was kind of
Do you think, Candace? Do you think this is proof that Charlie was turning Catholic? You fucking moron.
non-denominational, and I think Erica kind of follows that same path. She and I share that.
Also, by the way, I just want to draw attention to, she's posted a photo of her and Charlie and the kids in mass before,
Mhm.
and somebody in the comment section said, "Oh, are you guys converting?" And she said, "No, we just like attending sometimes." So she
Yeah.
herself had said no.
Yeah, and I
publicly.
think
So why are you playing this, Candace? This is proof against your claim. This is proof that just because they went to the masses, it doesn't suggest that they were turning Catholic. You fucking idiot.
Charlie, one of the things Charlie really hated worshiping in like a gym, or
Yeah.
some sort of kind of blank space that you just turn into.
Right, yeah. So as a Protestant, he didn't like the fact that the Protestants didn't put much effort into making their places of worship look like a place of worship. That's actually true. When I used to go church hopping as an atheist to investigate churches, I used to go church hopping for a whole year. I was like, what are these Protestants doing? Like, this bill is so meh. What the fuck is this? Like, this is like, look at the Catholics, look at their buildings, look at their churches. It's fucking gorgeous. Who would want to worship? Like, if you believed in God, you don't even like not okay. Some Protestant churches are better, okay, but I see what Charlie was saying. Charlie was comparing. I was like, we could do better. Like, look at these Catholic churches compared to ours. And like, we turn a gym into a church. Like, put some effort into
Church.
it.
There's no problem.
Oh, Sarah, thank you so much. Sarah in the chat is saying, as always, Armin is spot on. Thank you. Well, thank you, Sarah. Wow, we got to 6 out of 10 already. Better get that link ready.
He didn't have a problem with the act of that. He just didn't prefer it, and he loved, again, the ritual, the ancient, feel of a Catholic mass, and the fact
Right.
that everybody around the world that was worshiping as Catholic, he loved that. So he had some really big theological hangups with that. You can go check the videos out, him debating with Michael Knowles, in good fun. I mean, they were dear friends, but they loved.
So you don't forget the first part where this same man said that he was not turning Catholic. He was a clear no. He was just looking at what they're doing, and he enjoyed it. He wanted like the Protestants to have something similar, but he was not turning Catholic.
Kind of debating the whole Protestant versus Catholic thing.
Now, given everything that I've shared
So wait, Candace, do you think that was a point in your favor? That shows that you were full of shit.
with you, does that conversation register as like totally and completely authentic, or kind of trying to be like, yeah, no, like he loved the architecture of things, but beyond that, nothing was happening? Like that's not fully honest. And it
How? Look at this. She says that I have my emotions in check, but she plays that video, and her evidence for why they're lying is that it just doesn't feel right. This is a nut job. You're looking at a nut job. This is a person that looks at the video, and her evidence for why this was a lie, it was like, it just didn't vibe right. I just didn't get the right feelings. It just I just doesn't seem like they were telling the truth. This is what she's providing. Like, when I show you these guys, like the fact that they were saying this, did it make you feel like they were not being really on? Like, did you feel it, guys? You felt the same thing I felt, right? This is how she reasons. Fucking hell. This is why these people believe in conspiracy theories. Because their methodology, when it comes to finding the truth, is just based on fifis. Oh, guys, somebody's saying $7,000. This is a good reminder to send super chats. Anytime somebody says a $7,000 is highlighted, to ask people to, if you just a reminder that we're accepting super chats. Oh, here's another one, 7,000. Oh,
registered to me like a
there we go. It worked. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Oh my God, it's so beautiful to watch anti-Jew haters. Guys, let's not call them anti-Semites. Anti-Semites is too, it's not as powerful. Like, it doesn't really demonstrate how fucked up these people are. The word anti-Semite doesn't really demonstrate how fucked in the head these people are. We should replace the term anti-Semite with Jew hater, right? Jew hater. These Jew haters, like, look, it's really good for us how fucking retarded Jew haters are, because it's easier to defeat them eventually. Well, let me see. We got a super chat by Spooky Shana saying, during Christmas, millions of people attend a mass because it's beautiful and ancient and traditional, and people like that stuff. Yes, exactly. I love that. As an atheist, I love that stuff. You know what, guys? Let me tell you something. A lot of atheists, thank you, Shana. A lot of atheists tell me, like, Armin, as an atheist, we need something like a church or a temple. Like, we atheists don't have that. Where do we go, like, to enjoy, like, what these religious people have? You know what I tell them? Just go to a fucking church. There's no you don't have to, like, they let you, unlike a mosque, they let you in. Unlike a mosque, you could go and participate. They let you in. Okay? There is no rule in atheism that tells you that you cannot go and enjoy, if you enjoy the traditions of a church. Just go. You don't have to actually believe in it. You could actually take part without believing in anything. You could just, like, sing whatever they're singing, hold hands, and look at everything, and they welcome you. They welcome you. And the Christians, they usually just welcome you. Even if you tell them that you're not a Christian, they still welcome you. Okay, so that's the advantage. Just go and participate. You don't need to come up with an atheist alternative. Just go to a church.
cover up of sorts. And I was wondering, like, what are we exactly covering up? Like, I wasn't going Catholic gang, wasn't trying to bring back a 30 years war. I was just sharing the communications that I had with him. And now I felt like suddenly,
Yeah, the communications that you made up, you pulled out of your ass.
I was just sharing the communications that I had with him. And now I felt like suddenly so many people were racing to establish that his legacy was anything but Catholic, right? Like, he was super duper Judeo-Christian.
You see how she said it here as well. She was Judeo-Christian. Like, people are saying that he was not super duper not Catholic. He was Judeo. Christian. Look, you see how she says it? Fucking hell. Like, she's a fucking Jew hater. Like, she's obviously, oh my God.
Catholic, right? Like, he was super duper Judeo-Christian. And ironically, it was Judeo-Christianity that I was challenging him on personally, like, privately. And I was speaking to him about the political pressures of it, the way that I felt because of last year, that it registered to me like more of a cult than a true theology or a religion or a religious aspect.
She's calling Judaism a cult.
Rather.
As a, okay, do you think Charlie would ever agree with that? Like, I was telling him that, and he was like, oh, I was basically working on him, and he was coming to my side. Fuck off. Fuck you.
Be like more of a cult than a true theology or a religion or a religious aspect, rather. And it was back in February of this year when, out of nowhere, he's the one that actually messaged me and said, and said Catholicism is sounding better and better in February of 2024. This is kind of when we started having that discussion.
We should look. Catholicism is looking better and better. Okay, sure.
We should.
Okay, guys, like again, any of these texts needs to be verified. Like, I really don't believe anything that this bitch
chat
says.
soon. Catholicism is looking better and better. Okay. I then offered back to him a chart.
Imagine Charlie called you demonic in the latest video that the closest video that he had close to his own death. He called your movement and what you stand for in a question specifically about you. He called your view when your name was mentioned, he called it demonic. I don't think you would be the person that he would go to check whether he should change his religion or not.
Just showing how the phrase Judeo-Christianity kind of is really associated with the dawn of the nation of Israel, right? And we did chat about it. We talked about it a lot. And I was thrilled, like I said, and I was being honest that he was attending mass, okay? But I want to again state that Charlie was not attending Rob McCoy's church. He was attending mass. So it registered to me again as somewhat disingenuous when Pastor Rob McCoy came out and effectively asked me to, stop looking into all of the things that had happened.
They didn't say stop looking into it. You're lying. They're saying they told you stop spreading fucking bullshit. They told you that they are his friends and his family and the closest people to him in his life, and you are not even an afterthought. And they said that there is no way in hell that this man was considering becoming a Catholic. So again, I mean, Occam's razor. What is more likely? You know Charlie better than his closest friends of allies and his friends and family? Or that you're full of shit? Which one is more likely? I think that the latter is more likely.
Lead up to Charlie Kirk's assassination, or at least asking me to pause it rather would be more fair of an interpretation until the memorial, right? I'm going to jog your memory here. Here is what Pastor Rob McCoy wrote on his Instagram after I exposed the now infamous Hamptons meeting, which took place. He wrote this.
You didn't expose shit. You made up a lot of what that meeting was about. And you would actually, they came out and they exposed your lies. So you didn't expose anything. You exposed yourself.
Charlie Kirk was my friend and I was his pastor. I want to simply say this regarding Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk was a friend to Candace and never publicly spoke poorly of her, although he disagreed with her. He never operated nor entertained gossip or innuendo concerning Candace. My only comment I offer regarding Candace is this: I only wish that at this tragic time of mourning, she would be the friend to Charlie that he was to her. He would never have treated Candace or her family in such a way had, God forbid, this tragedy been hers.
Okay, guys, see, they're not saying don't ask questions. They're telling you to stop harassing people. Stop harassing Charlie's family. That's what they're asking you to do. They're not saying, hey, don't ask any questions.
Friend loves at all times. Proverbs. Now, I want to be very clear. If Charlie was a friend of mine, I sure hope if I was assassinated in front of the world that he would raise hell to figure out what actually took place on that day. That's not being a friend.
Okay, you don't know. Charlie is wise enough to trust the police officers, the detectives. He believed in the government. He believed in the police force. He celebrated them, and he would want them to be involved in figuring that out instead of playing detective like you. Wait, let me see. Spooky gave us another super chat, which makes us 8 out of 10 super chats, guys. We're already getting so close. Okay, I have to prepare a link for people to show up after we finish Candace's video. Spooky saying, by definition, Christianity is a cult within Judaism. At least that's how it started. It's called emergent religious phenomena. It's an area of religious study within secular religious scholarship. Yeah, it was a cult within Judaism. It's not a cult anymore, given its size and given how widespread it is. But yes, originally it was a Jewish cult, but not anymore. Yeah, but technically you're correct. It used to be. And thank you.
Friend is not someone who stays silent when lies are being told by the federal government. That's not a friend. Again, emotionally manipulative. The family can't have you finding out who actually killed him. The family can't have you looking into those.
They're not saying the family can't find out. They said the family cannot be constantly under pressure by you to come out and correct all the lies that you're spreading about Charlie. Why do you keep changing what people are actually saying?
Things of who was pressuring him behind the scenes. That's not good for the family. It bothers me. I have to be honest with you. That bothers me. I don't even like that to the untrained eye, he's kind of representing himself or representing Charlie as like a current congregant of his church. I feel like a lot this year I have been feeling as though these pastors are just not as honest as they should be, right? Is that the vibe? Like a lot of pastors are not.
It's just, I'm not just getting the right vibe. You know, I have no fucking evidence or reason for why these people are lying. I'm just not getting the right vibes. I'm just going based on vibes. Guys, do you feel the vibes? Fucking idiot.
Really so concerned with the truth is what I would say. So we should zero in here on Rob and what his motivation.
Oh, we got another super chat. Thank you, Kenny. Guys, we're only one super chat away from me having to drop a link in the chat after I finish Candace's videos for you guys to come out and talk to me. Kenny saying, in a sense, Catholicism is the first trans ideology. They believe a cracker can turn into a man, so why couldn't a man turn into a woman by the same logic? Well, Kenny, let me put a Catholic, a Christian hat on, because that is, you know, bread and blood turning into a human body does not violate God's good law, but a man turning into a woman would violate God's law. I mean, guys, did I do Christian? Like, I'm not a Christian, by the way. I am just making it up. Did I do Christianity right? Like, let me know, Christians in the chat. Did I do a good pretend Christian? I don't know. Okay. Okay. Can you say okay? LOL. Okay, let me know. I know we have Christians here. Does that make sense? I don't know.
This might be right. Why did he decide to post this after I revealed that Hampton's meeting? Well, you should know, I think most people do, that both his son and his daughter-in-law work for Turning Point USA. So whether you want to represent that or not, they have a financial stake in the future of the company. He heads up the faith division. So Charlie's faith and what direction it was going into would actually matter, right? It would actually matter if Charlie, and I never said he was going to, decided one day to become Catholic. It would have financial implications. I want to be clear, I never had a conversation that Charlie was in the process of converting. Okay.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You fucking liar.
But Rob in particular knew for an absolute fact that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him. That's what bothers me so much about this man.
No, not Israel. Not Israel. Some Jews. Fucking, oh my God. Okay, show us the evidence. She's going to bring us the evidence. Let's evaluate together.
Him allowing these headlines, Charlie's pastor speaks out, you know, crushes Candace because of what she said, not whatever. I don't like it. He knew.
Oh, I didn't like it. Okay, guys, let's back off. Let's everybody back off. She doesn't like
what
it.
She said, not whatever. I don't like it. He knew, and others knew, that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing. Take a look.
So, guys, remember the evidence that she's supposed to present is that Charlie was turning against Israel because Israel was pressuring Charlie. Okay, so let's see what the text messages that she had, the secret text message. By the way, these are private messages between Charlie and his friends that she is basically bringing out into the public. What an amazing friend you are, guys. Like, I don't know if I die and my private messages are now being exposed to the world by my so-called friend. I'm letting you know right now that person is not my friend. Okay, I'm speaking from before I died. That person is not my friend.
I view that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing. Take a look.
Okay, so guys, remember, the evidence is supposed to show us that Israel, like Charlie was tired with Israel pressuring him, and he was therefore turning against Israel. Okay, and this is why Israel killed Charlie. Okay, so let's look at the text messages.
So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, 2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, oh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause.
Okay.
And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit.
Okay, so before she scrolls down, can you guys tell me, have we seen so far anything so far? Because I think there's more. So far, have you seen anything that suggests that one, Israel was pressuring Charlie? Okay, that two, Charlie was turning against Israel. So far, have you seen that? Oh, well, guys, we got to 10 super chats. I'll wait for your answers while I read the super chat. Bar just gave us a super chat saying, guys, we reached our goal. Yay. Bar is saying the leader himself said that Charlie was venting. The leaker, sorry. The leaker himself was said that Charlie was venting. I mean, let's actually just look at, yeah, I mean, I saw that. You're right. That's a good context, actually. Thank you, Bar. But let's actually accept everything Charlie is saying here. Let's accept Charlie. This is actual Charlie's views. In fact, not only that, I think Charlie's views make complete sense here. Okay? But where does this suggest that Israel, so far, maybe, I don't know, maybe she shows us something else later that shows that. But where does any of this talks about Israel pressuring Charlie? That's how she started it. Right? Let me actually... We're talking about Jewish donors who were upset with Charlie, probably because he was platforming people like Tucker Carlson. And let me actually tell you those things. Those Jewish donors, those specific Jewish donors, could go get fucked because they didn't understand who they were supporting. Charlie's entire work was based on talking to people with different opinions. That was his entire thing. So if you were donating to Charlie, expecting him to not platform people he disagrees with, then you're a fucking idiot. And Charlie was completely correct to be frustrated with you. He was completely correct because you were also giving ammunition to a whole bunch of people who wanted to generalize your fucked up behavior to the rest of the other Jews. Like, these Jews, they won't support you unless they are completely in line with their agenda. These are individuals, not the entire Jewish people, and also not Israel, that Charlie was being frustrated with. And Charlie refused to change his way because of these people pulling their money. His frustration is completely justified, and it doesn't mean that Charlie was anti-Jewish or anti-Israel. He was getting tired of he was getting tired of two things. He was getting tired of the fact that he was doing more to convince all of these young conservatives that Israel is not evil, more than Israel itself. And he was getting frustrated that him doing this is losing him a lot of support that he needs for growing his project. Remember, Charlie's main focus was not to defend Israel. He cared about Israel. He loved Israel. But his main goal was to save America from Islam and wokeism and the left. So if he's losing so many conservatives, young conservatives, because he was doing more than other people to support Israel, he came to the conclusion that maybe I should just get out of this argument. It's not my job to defend Israel, even though he loves Israel, even though he wanted Israel to defend Israel better, like he wanted Israel to spend more time, spend more resources, not to just win in battle, not just to win the intelligence war, but also win the propaganda war, bring the narrative war. He wanted Israel to do that. He was wondering, as an American, why am I doing this in America? Why is Israel not present in America? You know, the 7,000 people who are posting 7,000? Because Israel is now actually, finally investing in marketing Israel in America. Finally, that's exactly what Charlie wanted. In the letter Charlie sent to Netanyahu, he was like, "Where are you? Where the hell are you? Like, we defenders of Israel are alone here. You guys need to be here. You need to be defending yourself, and we need to be following your lead. You should be leading us." And he was getting tired of that. He was getting frustrated with that. And he was wondering if it's worth it, given that he's losing so much support among young conservatives. He needed to grow his base. He needed to grow Turning Point USA. His frustrations made sense, but it doesn't mean that he was turning against Israel. None of that suggests that he was turning anti-Jewish or anti-Israel. He continued to love Israel. But obviously he loves America more, and obviously his main project was about America and getting more conservatives on his side. Look at this. Somebody's saying Charlie just said he was done being pro-Israel. You fucking idiot. Can you not read? Like, I don't know if you're being dishonest or you miswrote something. He didn't say I'm turning. Look at this. He's saying Charlie just said he was done being pro-Israel. I don't know. The text is right in front of your eyes. He's saying leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. He's leaving the cause. He's not stopping from being pro-Israel. If you're not involved in a cause, it doesn't mean that you don't believe in it. You fucking idiot. Guys, I care about the environment. I'm not in the environmentalist cause, even though I care about the environment. I care about dogs being abused. That actually really, I know, hurts me when I see that for some reason. It really gets something that really affects me. Okay, maybe because I have my own dogs, right? Okay, so anybody in the cause trying to stop that, obviously I'm supporting. I wish the best for them. I hope they succeed. I'm not in the cause myself, but obviously not being in the cause myself means that I'm against the cause. Do I need to actually spell this out for you guys? Like, this is so obvious. I'm not in the cause saving dogs from abuse. I'm not in that cause. Okay? But that doesn't mean that I'm not in favor of that cause. So Charlie is, what he's communicating here is that he has to pick his battles. Like, he cannot be fighting for so many different things, especially if he thinks that he's not getting enough support for supporting Israel. He was venting here. He was suggesting that maybe I shouldn't even be in this cause if I'm losing so many conservatives by making these arguments.
Maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit.
Wait, somebody's saying, I think this is so Delta is saying, I think this is a bit of a spin on him. What he said was straight up anti-Semitic. Which part is anti-Semitic? He's saying just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we cancel Tucker. I think I'm I'm thinking of inviting Candace. So but he's saying that like if they don't want me to invite Tucker, maybe I will invite another anti-Semite, huh? Because again, yeah, I'm okay with platforming anti-Semites because we need to debate them, right? Charlie, you need to fight ideas with shitty ideas with better ideas. You cannot just wish it to go away. Charlie Kirk is saying Jewish donors play into all. Oh, here, this part. You're saying this is anti-Semitic? Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes? I cannot and will not be bullied like this. This is not anti-Semitic. In fact, this is anti-Semitic. He's saying, why are they arming people with these stereotypes? Do you guys really think that this is anti-Semitic? This is not anti-Semitic, in my opinion. He's saying, when you say they play into all the stereotypes, is basically saying, why are you arming the anti-Semites? I don't know. Maybe I am. So Delta is saying, because some Jewish donors pulled money, he no longer supports Israel. Where did he say, Delta, where did he say he doesn't support Israel? Where did he say that? You could as an individual still support Israel, but not be in the cause. You cannot expect Charlie, who's continued to be pro-Israel, to be fighting. You cannot expect everybody that is pro-Israel to also fight for Israel. People have other causes. People have other battles that they need to fight. Everybody needs to pick their battles. You cannot be fighting in 7 fronts, unlike Israel. Okay? Not everybody could be like Israel, fight in 7 fronts. He needs to pick and choose. And also, when you say that they play into all the stereotypes, that means you're acknowledging that they are stereotypes. And when you say you're playing into them, you're acknowledging that these are made up, but you're basically giving them ammunition to make it seem as if they're real. Yeah, Amir is saying Israel is actually fighting on 7,000 fronts. Okay, yeah. Wait, see. So who else is disagreeing with me? This could be a healthy disagreement here. Where is it? I'm not seeing it. So Lily's saying, why is it a stereotype? All donors act the same. So why is he placing it on Jews? Still wouldn't call him anti-Semite, but it was not very good to say. So why is it a stereotype? Is this all donors act the same? So why is he placing it on Jews? Well, he's not suggesting that this is a Jewish thing. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so Lily, for your question to make sense, you would have to assume that if another donor pulled out for a different reason, for example, if Charlie platformed a fucking crazy, like an Antifa, right? Because he wanted to debate them. And then some conservative donors pulled out, right? Do you think Charlie wouldn't come venting here and say, you're making it these conservatives donors are basically playing into the claim that we are a bunch of sensitive snowflakes just like the left? Like, can you demonstrate that this frustration is only a anti-Jewish frustration? Based on what I know of Charlie, he would have basically he could have said conservative donors are playing into the claim that conservatives are sensitive. So I don't think this is a unique, like a specifically anti-Jewish frustration in any way. These are Jewish donors who were pulling their donations away because he was platforming. They were pulling their donation because he was platforming some anti-Semites. So obviously he's calling it out. And he's specific about who he's calling out, those specific donors.
So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down.
Okay, so Delta is saying we see it differently. I agree to disagree. Okay, fine. That's good.
Not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about.
Does anybody disagree? Does anybody agree with me in the chat? Do we have anybody who agrees that there's nothing anti-Jewish about this? Like, for example, if a whole bunch of atheists stopped supporting me because I was talking to, I don't know, a radical Muslim, I would be saying like, oh my God, you guys are atheists and you're basically feeding the narrative that atheists are as intolerant as religious people. That's what I would say. That's a normal thing to say.
Nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the others they're all lying about. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down. Not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay? So what are we to make of that? Okay, now that I'm showing you this and showing to you that the conversations were real, I want you to reflect, and it took me a lot of patience to allow the lies that were being woven and the misrepresentations of people that were pretending that I was just, high on lying about Charlie and the pressure he was under, the attacks that not just me.
Yeah, nothing that you showed demonstrates anything that you claim. So guys, the people who disagree with me, Delta, for example, do you agree at least that Candace's lies were not, nothing Candace said was proven to be true? Okay, so let's take the disagreement that some of you have with Charlie over the way that he worded that aside. Do you agree with me, most of you agree with me, that Charlie was not turning against Israel and that the pressure on Charlie was not from Israel? Do you agree with that part? So let's just say like Charlie, his wording might have been good or bad. Maybe it was not anti-Semitic or anti-Semitic. Let's remove that part. Do you agree that nothing in the text suggests that Israel, these are Jewish donors, okay? This is not the state of Israel. Okay, people are saying yes. And also, nothing in that message suggested that Charlie was turning anti-Israel. He was just venting about maybe leaving the cause. Okay, good. So Delta, you guys mostly agree.
Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly faced for trying to stand up and tell the truth about what Charlie was actually going through. Why are you hearing it, though, from me and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly? Isn't that weird? You got...
By the way, guys, I really, I'm just going to quickly just go a little bit back to that disagreement, okay? Let me, just a small thing, okay? Whether I'm right or you guys are right, I think we need to consider being less, calling less things anti-Semitic, okay? Especially when people who have a history of supporting Jews and Israel, because the power of that word will become, and that's something that Charlie was maybe frustrated with as well, okay? So when you are not sure and it might be close to yes or no, then be charitable and go with no, okay? Especially when somebody has a huge history of supporting Jews and Israel. So because if we overuse calling things anti-Semitic, then these motherfuckers will use that against us when we call people anti-Semites. Then we're like, you call everything anti-Semitic. So that's why I think we should be careful with that. BT, thank you so much for the super chat saying, I'm now your Jewish donor. Well, thank you. I appreciate the super chat. Okay.
People that are hosting a show and tell the truth about what Charlie was actually going through. Why are you hearing it, though, from me and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly? Isn't that weird? You got people that are hosting a
Oh, wait, as she speaks, I'm going to, because we got to 10 super chats, I'm going to prepare the Google Meet link so that if anybody wants to come up, they could come up.
show. Have they, in like one honorable thing, come out and said, like, you know what? F a couple of these donors who made his life a living hell over the last couple of weeks. Why haven't they done that? There's also a rabbi in that chat. Like, why hasn't anybody made that move to at least say, to vindicate what I have been saying about what he was going through? That registers to me as very suspicious. I'm going to frankly say that. It's suspicious to me. It makes me think that in the same way that Charlie was being pressured by money, that you might be now run by that same money, that those same donors might be running you to correct the ship and to focus yourselves on
It just doesn't feel right, guys. It just feels wrong.
eulogizing Charlie as something and someone that never once flinched, never once for a single second doubted the Israeli cause.
Oh, doubting the Israeli cause, he did. Doubting Israel, he didn't. In fact, I doubt the Israel cause. Guys, I'm a super Zionist, okay? I'm a non-Jewish Zionist, okay? And I doubt the Israeli cause because by doubting it, I mean I look at the performance, I'm like, we could do better. Like, what the hell, guys? We're falling behind. If that's what you mean by doubting. I don't doubt Israel. I doubt the cause by looking at it. I'm like, why are we falling behind when it comes to the battle of narratives? So yeah, he doubted the cause. He didn't doubt Israel, though.
A single second doubted the Israeli cause.
No, that's not what people are saying. They say he didn't doubt Israel. You fucking liar. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're an idiot.
Now they want us to suddenly believe the best way to honor Charlie is to shut up. The exact opposite of what he quite literally laid down his life doing. And
Actually, I don't think you should shut up. I think the more you speak, the more embarrassing is for Jew haters. Like, it's good. You're a good way for us to expose the insanity of anti-Jewish hate and anti-Israeli hate. So, you know what? Actually, keep talking.
answering questions, turning point. Answering the questions is what he was doing in the second that he died, okay? And we
Yep. Guys, she's still trying to suggest that Israel killed Charlie. It's amazing.
we all are feeling spiritually the same way. So I'm just going to say it. They're not grieving right. It's not up to us to decide how people grieve, but I will say unequivocally that you shouldn't grieve by lying or by gaslighting. Is that fair? Can we all agree? You should not grieve by lying and gaslighting the public.
She's telling Charlie's friends and family that they're not grieving right. This woman. This bitch. Fucking hell. By the way, guys, if you are anti-Semites and anti-supporters of Candace, there's a Google Meet link at that has been pinned to the chat. If you want to come talk to me, you could come and talk to me. I support Israel, and you guys seem to get butthurt over that. So if you want to come and tell me why, there's a link right there.
They want us to believe that the only way that we can support and honor Charlie's legacy is by donating our money. But it would not be supportive for us to try to figure out who killed him and why the feds are lying. We should instead just trust the feds and excuse their little half-truths that they're telling along the way. Now, on that point,
no, you don't need to trust the feds. If you're not happy with the results, we don't trust you to investigate that. There are other people. There are independent bodies that they're designed for investigating the investigators. And we have also expert journalists, people who do investigative journalism that know what they're doing. The thing is that if there's doubt, we just try to rely on expert analysis and investigative journalism rather than conspiracy nut jobs like you.
They keep trying to make it seem like it's completely normal that 4 minutes after Charlie was shot, someone on their team nervously raced to grab the SD cards, specifically from the camera that is behind Charlie's head.
This is like, oh, do you guys have any explanation for building number 7? Building number 7. This is basically what conspiracy theories do. Okay, they go just look at, every time they look at, because when a complicated event happens, okay, you as an observer obviously don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. So they come and say like, hey, look at this piece. Can you explain this? I'm like, well, no. I'm like, okay, therefore my conspiracy is correct. Well, I mean, what do you want me to do? Drop my life and go and look at the entirety of all the fucking details? Because anybody who did that realized that you guys are full of shit. Every time somebody went and looked at 9/11 and looked at all the details, realized that you guys were full of shit. But you go to people who do not have time to dedicate hours of their lives looking at every single brick and under every brick and every little detail, and to come up with an answer for, oh, if this, then why did that happen? I don't know. Do you want me to just leave my job and go investigate every single thing that happened on 9/11 to be able to answer your question? Because anybody who did that tells me that you're full of shit. I'm like, well, if you don't have the answer, therefore you can't answer to my question, therefore I am correct. Oh, in Auschwitz, why is this door, like there are holes in it and the gas will not stay inside? Obviously this is all made up, because look at the design of it. The gas would have leaked out. Do you have an answer? Like, well, no, I don't have an answer because I haven't looked at every single detail. Like, oh, since you don't have an answer, therefore my conspiracy that the Holocaust didn't happen is correct. Okay, like, oh my God. Okay, let's go look into it. And every fucking time you go and look into it, you realize that these people are full of shit. Like every time you actually put all the pieces of the puzzle next to each other, which takes out, it takes them 5 minutes to ask a stupid question, because they know that most of you are not going to spend 50 hours putting all the pieces together to finally come to the conclusion that you're fucking wrong. Because they know that it takes them 5 minutes to ask you, and you don't have 50 hours to go and research all of these things, their entire conspiracy theories is, how do you explain this? How do you explain that? Isn't that suspicious? That's how conspiracy theories work.
And that was because during that time, I think it's like trying to make it normal that his instinct was to stand on Charlie's chair to actually violate a crime scene, but also to mysteriously just grab the SD card out of the camera, right? Not only are they pretending that that was completely normal, but they're also presenting it as though it was a heroic act. It was like a forthright.
Yeah, Kenny's saying, yes, that's classic conspiracy thinking. Yeah. You don't know. You don't have any explanation for this, so therefore, Israel killed Charlie.
Clarified act to do in that moment, and that anyone who uses their own eyes and sees it as maybe a little bit suspicious are just in the business of spinning conspiracies. Now,
guys, no, I shouldn't say that.
That's exactly what was communicated by Andrew Colvett when he sat across from Tucker Carlson, who was hosting Charlie's show. And gratefully, Tucker Carlson instantly responded with a much more sensible approach. Take a listen.
By the way, just one other conspiracy theory I just want to snuff out here. One of our dear friends that literally from the very beginning started with us and loved Charlie like a brother.
Oh my God, you're sitting next to Tucker. Okay, so this doesn't seem like a crowd of people that could be trusted.
He grabbed the SD cards out of the camera afterwards. And there's all these conspiracy videos about, like, why did he grab the SD cards? Well, first of all, they're in the possession of the FBI. Okay. It's not like he took them and like ran off with them. Second of all, I asked him personally, I said, why did you do that? And he looked at me and this was his answer. He said, because I know people can be evil. And he did not want that footage being grabbed by somebody. There was videos of people after the incident going and stealing hats off the table. I mean, so I'm so grateful he did that, and that was his instinct. He's like, I'm depressed to know that that was why I did that, but I knew that I had to protect that footage because I mean, you're recording in like 4K, And so I'm so glad he did that. But Charlie knew the existence of evil. And
Well,
so,
can I say,
yeah.
I think that people can feel the existence of evil, and that just to
Guys, when they say evil, they mean Jews.
put in a sympathetic word for people who are trying to make sense of this and coming to the wrong conclusions. I think they're motivated for the most part by pure intent. I think they don't
At least with Tucker, when Tucker says
trust the authorities. They have every reason to feel that way. I know that for a fact. Not the Trump administration in general. Like,
Yeah.
we're not, there's been a lot of lying and it's corroded the trust. That's not their fault, actually. They're the victims
That's a
of
good
it.
point. Thank you for saying that.
Okay, guys, what is it? What is the theory here? So, when Charlie was murdered, somebody grabbed the SD cards, which shows that the Jews killed Charlie. Can you connect the dots for me here? That given this man's concern about the presence of evil in the world, that some evil person might come and take the SD cards. This shows that evil exists and evil powers want to do evil things. And then help me connect this to Israel somehow. And obviously by evil powers, we all know who we're talking about. Hence, Israel killed Charlie. again, I'm really trying. How do they do this? This is okay. I don't know.
Thank you, Tucker, for saying that. And this is the reason why Tucker is so big.
So you're saying thank you, Tucker, for saying that, because I know who you're talking about when you're talking about evil. You know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. So thank you. This is fucking insane. Bunch of anti-Semites.
Because he has this perspective. He understands like what the average person is thinking here. And the average person looks at that and they think it's shady. And, saying that there was this heart-wrenching moment where you were worried because people were stealing stuff on the table, but also you took the SD card out and not the very expensive camera, which is if you were worried about stealing and theft, maybe you would take the camera. But more importantly there is he says that the feds, that he gave it to the feds, right?
Yeah, I don't understand. How is this evidence?
The camera, which is if you were worried about stealing and theft, maybe you would take the camera. But more importantly there is he says that the feds.
So if because his worry, she's using the worry of somebody on Charlie's team for somebody taking the SD cards as proof that these people were aware of this evil presence of this evil power that would want to hide the evidence, and this suggests that Israel did this. These people are insane. These people are fucking insane. Not the person that took the SD cards. That was the right thing to do. I don't know what's going to happen, right? But I mean, and the reason why I wouldn't take the camera and I would take the SD cards, you fucking idiot, because I'm not worried about the camera getting lost. I'm worried about the footage getting lost. Even if somebody steals the camera, I'm not like, oh no, the camera. I'm going to be like, oh no, the footage.
That he gave it to the feds, right? Now he doesn't insinuate, obviously, that they don't have.
I think this all shows that Madagascar killed Charlie Kirk. I think it was Madagascar. I mean, I was looking at it, and Charlie never came into the defense of Madagascar. Never a single time. Not a single time. Coincidence? Not a single time did he say one positive thing about a country with 32 million people. So, coincidence?
The footage. Turning Point does have the footage. That's very clear. I saw partially the footage, which means it made it back home. Or maybe they had it back home because they were recording it live.
Yes, in fact, exactly. The cat is saying, in fact, he avoided talking about it. Guys, is it a coincidence that Charlie never mentioned Madagascar? Not a positive thing, a single time. And then he was shot while somebody on his team was worried about the SD cards being lost? Makes you think.
Made it back home. Or maybe they had it back home because they were recording it live, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody in chat saying, can anybody explain how it is not Madagascar? Do you have any reason for why it's not? Do you have any evidence? Do you have any evidence for it not being Madagascar? Provide me with the evidence that it was not them. Or shut up.
Or maybe they had it back home because they were recording it live, whatever it is. It was being live streamed. But what he said actually conflicts with what Tyler Boyer is about to say, what he said over this weekend, okay? Tyler Boyer, like I said, he's a COO of Turning Point Action, and he went on this kind of bender, worst kind of bender, Twitter bender, defending the organization. He thought he was defending them against public sentiments, during which time he refutes what Andrew Colvett is saying about the SD cards. Andrew says the Turning Point employee was worried about theft, but Tyler says that actually he was instructed to secure the SD cards before the campus went on to lockdown. Now, here's the tweet, so I can show you that. Somebody said, rightfully, emotional manipulation and falsely equating scrutiny as some form of hate speech is not going to work here. You and Colvett admitted that the staff tampered with cameras and the most crucial video evidence in the largest political assassination in decades. Hiding makes him look guilty. And Tyler countered, dude did not tamper with anything. Yes, he did. It's a crime scene. The law enforcement officers asked them to turn them over immediately so they didn't get lost in commotion before they took everyone into lockdown. Now, that is just not true. That is not true. What Tyler is saying is not true. I spoke to that Turning Point individual, as I told you, and he never once mentioned that police officers. I explicitly asked him, why did you take the SD cards out specifically of the camera behind? And the answer that I was given sounded more like what Andrew Colvett said. You know, I was emotional. I knew that Charlie was dead. And my instinct, he told me, was to make sure that I secured the footage so that Erica would not have to see it again.
Okay, guys, if you remove the SD cards so that it doesn't get damaged or stolen, is that tampering with the evidence?
That I secured the footage so that Erica would not have to see it again.
That's not what he said. That guy said that he stole it. He didn't steal it. He took it so that nobody steals it. That's what you showed us. So how is that tampering with evidence? Is that tampering with evidence? Like, if that's tampering with evidence, then if that is tampering with evidence, then when Charlie got shot, everybody at that moment should have played Simon Says, and everybody should have just stood still. Like Charlie on the ground dying, and everybody was like, nobody move. Nobody move until the detective shows up. Anything you touch, any movement in any direction is tampering with evidence. Like, what the hell? Like, that is not, like, that is actually securing the evidence. Isn't that securing the evidence? That's securing the evidence. How is that tampering with evidence? Yeah, exactly. It's preserving the evidence. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. I love this. Somebody says, you're a fool. I love it when people say I'm a fool and they misspell it. It's just every time that happens, it's like I don't know, a fairy gets its wings or something like that. I don't know what the saying is. It's just so beautiful for somebody to call me a fool when they misspell it. I don't know. There's something magical about that. I don't know what. Right. I like to highlight it every time. Oh wait, Delta saying, can you do a stream on the hostage deal? Yes, I was waiting for more information to come out, and then I will do a stream. Should that be our next stream? I will do a stream on that. By the way, guys, none of these anti-Semites came up to talk to me. The link is up.
He didn't want Erica to have to see it and have to relive it. That is what he said to me on the phone. Nothing about police officers. No one's ever heard police officers asked them to secure the footage before lockdown until Tyler Boyer tweeted this weekend. I don't like it. Okay, I just don't like it. Now, to be fair,
somebody just showed up. Oh, that's Jack. Hold on. It's our own Jack. Hold on. Let me actually make it so that you cannot see him unless he's okay with it. Okay, hold on. View admit. Hey, hello.
Hey, hello.
Hey, how are you? Hey, I can
Uh,
hear you.
I am good, thanks. So I don't have any anti-Zionist questions. I just have a question about something you said before.
Go on.
So you often say that we should avoid generalizing, but at the same time you say that the entire Palestine movement is nothing but a terrorist movement. But isn't it more accurate to say that it's 90% to 95% a terrorist movement? Because there are people in Israel and in the West Bank who are both pro-Israel and pro what you call so-called Palestine, who just want peace between the two-state solution. So those people aren't anti-Zionist; they just disagree on what is best for peace. So I would say that it is 90 to 95% a terrorist movement, but there is that minority who are who are pro real peace. So I think that that's your absolute stance is generalizing.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So when I said okay. So when I said I don't generalize, I was not talking about the movement. I was talking about people, right? I'm talking the movement is a terrorist movement, and there are non-terrorists in the movement not knowing the nature of the movement. Okay? So you could be part of a terroristic movement without being a terrorist because you don't know the nature of the movement that you're in. Do you agree with that?
Yes, but how do you know that your understanding of the movement is correct? Like, what
Okay.
if someone in the West Bank says, for me, the pro-Palestine movement is that we have a peaceful coexistence with the Israelis. So why is your definition right and that person's is wrong?
So when you say how do you know your understanding is correct? Okay. I don't know anything for certain, but obviously my understanding would be the understanding that I would believe in. So the reason why I believe in my understanding is because that is the definition of believing things. Like, what do you want me to believe in? And believe you want me to believe in something that is not my understanding? Obviously, whatever is my understanding is what I believe in. That is the very definition of understanding something and believing in something. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Like, you're saying, what do you believe? Why do you believe in your understand? Because you shouldn't say, why do you know? Because I don't know anything, because nothing is 100% certain. I believe in my understanding. I don't know my understanding. Okay. And I believe in my understanding because it's my understanding. Why should I believe in someone else's understanding?
Okay, so maybe I should have asked that. I should have asked that. I disagree with what
So,
your
let
understanding.
me. Okay, yeah. So you
Okay.
disagree with it. Let me explain. I understand the Palestinian cause because I was born in a country that attempted to brainwash me with it. I come from a place that is the source of the Palestinian movement in the current form that it is right now. The Palestinian movement has changed from what it was. It was always a terroristic movement, to be fair, but it used to be a pan-Arabist terroristic movement, and then it turned into a Sunni Islamic terroristic movement, and now it's a completely different terroristic movement that is basically being funded and supported for Tehran. And I grew up with the ideology that is now managing and directing the Palestinian movement. So given that I've been basically consuming the ideology behind the Palestinian movement in elementary school and high school, and based on the media and all that my teachers and everything that was fed to us, I know what the objective is. So if somebody in the West who's being fed the Islamic Republic lies wants to tell me that they understand what the Palestinian movement is about, I have hours of reasons to explain to them why their understanding is pathetically wrong.
Can I continue?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so the Islamic Republic isn't the one who determines what the movement is in reality. I think that we should look at it holistically and what people believe and descriptively. And descriptively, what you said is 95 to 95% of the pro-Palestine movement. But the 5% are those people like in Israel and the West Bank who generally want something, a peaceful solution.
What percentage? 1% of the movement?
Like, I just came up with numbers, but maybe 5 to 10% is this.
So you're saying 90, right? Like 90% is the terrorist movement and 10% isn't?
Yes.
Okay.
Or
How do you define
It's-
define a movement?
by what it wants to achieve.
Okay. So let me see how I could explain this. The intention of the leaders of this movement and the main actors of this movement, okay, is to wipe out Israel and eventually support the cause of an Islamic takeover of the planet. Okay. So
Yes, I
if
agree with that.
I know. So we both agree on that. If you and they use the name of Palestine and the flag of Palestine as a way to further that cause, right? If you're one of that 5 or 10% that says like, well, I don't want that, okay, I want something else, but in the aim of getting that, I'm going to wave the flag that is used for that goal, and I'm going to support the people who want that goal. Then even if you have a different intention, at the end of the day, you're supporting that main cause. Let me give an example. What if I go and wave a Nazi flag with the swastika logo on it, right? And I say, and I do that while shouting white power, okay? And then you come to me and you tell me like, Armin, what the fuck? And I tell you, well, like, okay, what's your problem with that? And you tell me like, this is a supremacist fascist ideology that you're supporting. And I tell you, well, actually, I don't believe I don't see this flag representing what you believe it represents. And I don't believe these words to mean the way you interpret it, right? And there are other people like me that think like that. Okay, I might be an idiot, and you will realize that I'm ignorant and idiot, but you wouldn't say that, okay, Armin, you shouldn't say Nazism is a fascistic ideology, because there are people who look at this a fascistic and a supremacist ideology, because there are people who look at this differently. I mean, I'm not even making this up. I actually talked to Nazis. I had a debate with Nazis. I've recorded it. It's on the internet. A long debate. And these were a group of Nazis that thought that Hitler was a really kind man, that he didn't actually hurt anybody. He wouldn't even hurt a fly, that his ideology was completely misunderstood. And they thought that he was actually a warrior for peace, right? And these people said that we want peace in the world. We don't, and they called themselves Nazis, and they did the Nazi salute, right? Whatever these individuals believe, at the end of the day, they're promoting the symbols and the ideology and the people who support that evil ideology. Like, they're basically unknowingly using the same brand and supporting the same people. So even if they don't believe in the goal, they are helping those people spread that ideology, and they're helping them achieve that goal by promoting it. Does that make sense?
Yes, but can I disagree?
Yeah, of course.
So there's a difference between this, is that Nazism was a specific political party with documents that these are our policies, these are our beliefs. What you call the so-called Palestine movement isn't like, there isn't a document that says that this is what our movement is. It is like a wide where people like, it's what the people like want. So you can't say that it definitely is something specifically.
The people from the very beginning, everybody who started, the leaders of this movement and the ideology of this movement in writing, okay, and in saying, has been about destruction of Israel. So you're saying the Nazi ideology, they had they basically determined, like, I don't understand the difference. You had leaders of the Nazi ideology saying what their intention is, and they made it very clear. And all the three phases of the Palestinian cause, every single time the leaders made it very clear that the intention was to wipe out Israel and eventually to overcome, the Western imperialism. Though they have always made that clear throughout their history. So what is the difference here?
So maybe the difference is
Can I just read this to you? I don't know. I think I already read this on this. So one of the initial leaders of the Palestinian movement, okay, Zuhair Mohsen, okay, senior PLO leader, in March 1977 said this: the Palestinian people do not exist. There is no difference between Jordanian, Palestinian, Syrian, and Lebanese. Between Jordanians, Palestinians, Syrian, and Lebanese, there are no differences. We are all part of one people, the Arab nation. Just for political reasons, we carefully underwrite our Palestinian identity because it is of national interest for the Arabs to advocate the existence of Palestinians to balance Zionism. Yes, the existence of a separate Palestinian identity exists only for tactical reasons. Once we have acquired all of our rights in all of Palestine, meaning Israel as well, we must not delay for a moment the reunification of Jordan and Palestine, meaning that they're going for an Arab empire. The point was not to create a Palestinian state. The point was to use the Palestinian cause as an excuse to destroy Israel and eventually create an Arab empire. So that was the Pan-Arabist phase. And eventually, when the Pan-Arabist phase died, thanks to Israel, with Jamal Abdel Nasser. Then we had the Sunni version of trying to create an Islamic empire instead of an Arab empire, which is an Islamic caliphate, and that dream also died. And now we have the Shias trying to use the so-called Palestinian cause as a way to create their own Shia imamate. So it has always been the case. It has always been an excuse to destroy Israel by the leaders of the Palestinian cause. So I don't care what some leftist university students in America think that they're doing. At the end of the day, they're supporting a cause with a very, very clear agenda.
yes, and I wasn't talking about university protesters. I was talking about the people living in the land and who have reasonable opinions, who I referred to in the 5-10%.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, even people there, the vast majority of them would want to see Israel wiped out. Do you agree with that, right?
Well, I would say that at least 50%.
Yeah, I mean, even the people who are anti-Hamas, unfortunately, many of them are still anti-Israel.
Yes, I know. I have seen polls that many of them support like violence.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to support those people, some of these people there, for them to be able to have good lives, you need a better name. You need another branding. The Palestine name and the Palestine cause is too much. It's too much in line with terrorism that trying to get those people a better life should not be branded as the Palestinian cause. It's almost as if saying, like, I don't know, why don't we? It's basically the same as saying, why don't we make another version of Nazism that is the good, like, call it Nazism, but it's a different cause. It has different goals. Like that, the name is too tainted. And in fact, the name is used so much for acts of terror that some ignorant good people thinking that supporting this is actually helping people, they're unknowingly supporting a terroristic cause. So I don't see it as some of these people being in a terrorist movement and some of them not. The way I see it is some of them knowingly supporting a terroristic cause and some of them unknowingly supporting a terroristic cause. But at the end of the day, if you're supporting the Palestinian cause, you're supporting a terroristic cause. The difference is just knowingly and unknowingly.
Okay, so maybe I understand your perspective a bit more here.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. So, guys, we're already over 2 hours. That was a great discussion. I enjoyed that discussion. But maybe I should have let him talk more. Maybe next time I'll let him talk more. But yeah, guys, so nobody else came up. I appreciate him coming up. Guys, maybe next time I could invite people who want to come up to be either friendly or unfriendly, because I do want to chat to some of you guys as well. So from now, if we get to 10 super chats, I will drop the link. And because this was a really nice, friendly discussion, and I'm not just going to invite the anti-Semites to come up, I will also invite friendly people to come up, okay? Because to people who just might have questions, people who just want to maybe add their own comment without actually doing a debate. So yeah, from now on, do you guys agree? From now on, that would be the goal. Anybody could come up. Anybody could come up and talk. Let me know if that's good in the chat. Yes, Jack is saying yes. Yes, Armin gives good answers. Oh, thank you. I'm saying yes. Armin gives good answers. Oh, appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I like the end of the show where we chit chat a little bit. Delta saying sounds good. Yes, I do agree. You're the best. Oh, thank you, Neva, saying you're the best. Wow, so warm and fuzzy in the chat. People are giving me so many kind messages. That makes me happy. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. We already covered the part of Candace's show that I wanted to, which was the part that she's talking about the messages, this bombshell. Everybody on social media is talking about it. Oh my God, Candace showed up with the receipts. She had nothing. She had nothing. Okay, nothing that she claimed became even 1% more likely based on the text that she showed. In fact, it was such a nothing burger that it showed that these people have no evidence for their claims. If they had something, this would have been it. They revealed it. It's nothing. Candace is full of shit. Charlie was pro-Israel. He was getting frustrated. Maybe he's the wording could have been better, but the wording at all doesn't in any way suggest that he was turning anti-Israel. Not even in the slightest. Okay. Sometimes sometimes you get frustrated. You want to leave a cause and focus on your own thing. That doesn't mean that you do not support Israel. In fact, very shortly before his death, his request for Netanyahu was for him to do a better job supporting Israel. There you go. Anyways, guys, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell notification, don't forget to recommend this channel to your friends and your enemies, Atheist Republic on YouTube. And yeah, that's about it. Is there anything else you need to do? No. But do all of those things, okay? That would be great. So say it with me in the chat. Am Israel Chai, Javid Shah. Bye, guys.